Hello everybody, welcome to a new video Engien Speed Shop. Today this engine and the transmission is going back in the car. So it will be a pretty cool video and the next step in this project. If you're new to the channel, have a look in the right corner view, there's my logo, you can click on it over there. See all the other videos of this project. Don't forget to subscribe and have a look on engienspeedshop.com. This is my M113 V8 station wagon project with a turbo. So let's go. So the last full video I did, so if you did not watch the last short videos that I did, then the last video that I did was about transmission. So I surfaced it, cleaned everything. So that's the video before this, so you have to have a look in the playlist when you have to want to have some info about the 720-6 transmissions. So what have I done up till this point? So transmission and torque converter is back in on the engine. Torque converter is filled up with like the maximum amount of oil that I can get in there. I think it's like about 2 liters of oil poured in. Otherwise, if I put it in the car, some oil will flow out again. But so it's most of the oil is in there, so that it will help filling up the transmission. Otherwise the transmission will pump the oil back in the torque converter because it's empty. So I fill it up as much as possible. Starter motor is mounted, engine mounts are back on, the full exhaust is back on, turbo mounted. I made a bracket for the turbo. That's all made because this complete turbo is hanging on one exhaust manifold with only 8 bolts. And they are M6, so pretty small. And there is a flexible piece welded in here because it will stretch a little bit when it warms up the exhaust. So that's what I all did. Also, everything is in place on the engine, so alternator is in place, steering pump is in place, and I made some brackets. So I bought this engine without a steering pump, but the steering pump I bought was no bracket on it, so I made a bracket. So if you're buying a steering pump, make sure there is a bracket with it. You cannot order it separately, so I made that. I also had some fitting issues with the oil pressure temperature sensor. So there's a combination sensor, oil temperature and pressure, because it was too close to the belt. So I made a separate connection. So there is a connection on the top side. I think I have the original one. These ones you cannot order anymore, so it's of course without the meshing or the brass fitting. But these ones you normally have only on engines that have the cylinder outshell tune. So what is the option 479? So then you have these solenoids on top, these connections for the solenoids. Then you have this one standard. I think it's only on the double 221 or 220 version. So I could fit the sensor on top on here, but yeah, then I have a pressure reading that's very good. But yeah, maybe it's just me, but then the temperature sensor is not in the flowing oil. So yeah, does it make a difference? Maybe not, but yeah, I thought it was not perfect. So I made a bracket for it. So the bracket is on there. Have a look what I did more. I fitted the how you say that? The air conditioning pump on there to fit it, but I'm not going to run it because this one is an air conditioning pump without a clutch. I didn't know that, I asked that and somebody told me. So it's running always on like 9%. But yeah, my system is not connected, so I thought it is not a good idea to have a pump continuously running without a magnetic clutch in the front. So got that one off. So now I'm running a custom belt. What's very funny is that this belt is for a M113 420 V8 engine. So that's this belt, 6PK2425. That will fit like a glove. So that is connected. I think that's it then. Yeah, engine mounts are on, so it's completely ready for going into the car. In the engine bay also I made everything ready for going in. So I insulated the new plates, or the new plates, the old insulation that was in here. I got the old heat reflection off, got a new heat reflection on. I also put heat reflection on the subframe because my exhaust is running here. So, and also behind there, because originally in a V8 there's also insulation on this side because the turbo and the wastegate is in here. And maybe I have to fit here more, but I can reach this point when the engine is in, so that's not a problem. Also, the complete tunnel is done up till the end of the transmission because the rest I can reach. And the original plates are in for the exhaust. So these are just the original plates of the 4-cylinder engine, but yeah, they also fit the exhaust pipe because I have a single turbo on a V8, so the exhaust is going down only on this side. So that's it. So what I'm going to do now is taking the wheels up because I can lower the car on the bridge completely to the ground. So I will not touch the brakes disc, of course, to the ground, but yeah, as low as possible, because then I can tip over the end transmission over here. So I will make everything ready and will show you how I'm going to put the engine in the car. So front wheel is removed. In the back I put a wooden block underneath the disc so it will not touch the ground, so it's just like you have a very small wheel, the same amount. So it's on the ground, the bridge, so lower than this I cannot get it. The stance of the car is looking very good, I think. Low is always better. So engine is up to the highest point, so I have to tip over the transmission and then I have to change the angle to let this front sump also going in. So that's also the way I took it out, because there is no removable radiator piece in a W124. So let's have a go. Transmission mount underneath, 4 bolts are in. So the end of the transmission mount is hanging in the transmission mount. Only have to connect 2 bolts. It's on the mount, it cannot go anywhere. I only have to tighten the top bolts and the bottom bolts, but I can lift the engine and it cannot drop out. So I'm going to raise the bridge a little bit and I can take the frame off. So now the car can go up completely and I can tighten the 4 bolts for the engine mount, top and bottom bolts, and I can put the 2 center bolts in from the transmission mount, and that will secure the complete engine, and that's it then. So car is completely up. The bolts that I mean are over here. There are 2 bolts. There is one over here. There's one over here. That's the original engine mount. You can see, I hope you can see it a little bit. I have some room to move the engine over, so I can still level it a little bit. Also the top bolts, one is over there and one is over there, and because they are on an angle like this, you have to loosen them up, otherwise you cannot put them in, because they are in an angle. Original engine mounts are also always level, so yeah, but on these it's not possible because they are just aftermarket. So transmission mount on with 4 bolts, and there are then the original 2 small bolts over here. I will put those in, and I can still move the transmission a little bit to the side, to the left or the right, to center it out a little bit. First, I'm going to first put these in, then measure the center point in between so it's centered, and then the front I will connect them then, and that's it. And then the engine is in, completely overhauled. The only thing that I did not have in the car before was of course this flexible piece and the insulation, and now you can see it's touching here, but yeah, that's insulation, so I have to make some room over there. The same piece is over here. I have some room over here, so everywhere I have enough room. Also around the steering box there is room, so it's all good. This bolt of this will be connected over here, sorry. This will be connected over here, so I take this one out, put the earth cable underneath. I will put another earring on the engine on this side, just like I did with V12. So the only thing I need to do when I thought about it is I need to have a wiring connection into the car from the transmission. So I can do it from the inside. I think the last time I drilled it somewhere on the side, but I'm not sure. So I think I'm going to do it in front, because then I don't have to put the big connector through. So I'm going to have a look into that. So I'm going to connect the bolts, then the car can go down. Also another thing that I did not mention before is that I made an oil return line from a turbo. Normally here is the leveling sensor is here in the M113 of the oil level sensor. I have not mounted it because yeah, I have not put it in, and I think it's a very good position to drain the oil from the turbo. So you can see the hose over there, that's coming from the turbo down here, draining back. So that's it, and you can see how much space is in here. Only radiator needs to go in. It's just very nice to have space in the engine bay. So I'm going to mount the bolts and then show you the end result from the top. So this is it, drivetrain back in the car. Looks pretty good with the new colors on it, nice and clean and tidy. Before it was all a little bit of a mess, of course. So bolts are tightened. I can change it a little bit, so I will check afterwards if the level is completely good. It looks very good. Most of the time if it looks good, you have to leave it. So for the rest, what I'm going to do is connect everything from the turbo, like the oil lines, the coolant lines. I have here 2 coolant passages that I can use that normally work for the oil cooler. I will use these for the turbo. I think I'm going to drill a hole in here to use as a feed oil for the turbo. So because there is like an oval O-ring, so people who've seen the videos before that I made this, there's like an oval O-ring, so I can make a connection underneath here and have a feed for the turbo. Drainer is already there. Then the intake can go on, but first the 2 knock sensors need to go in, otherwise you cannot reach them, so I have to make some wiring for that. Then the intake manifold can go on. Everything can be tightened because the intake manifold is done. Breather system, I don't think I showed you that, but I made 2 separate connections for the breather in it, nice and big. They will have a pot over here, a swirl pot. That's from a truck. I will show you that when I install it. So it's a very big one. They tested it on big Nissan petrols and that sort of stuff. It's very good. And I'm going to use a hose for that I need to make in the inlet of the turbo, so it gets a vacuum in there. Then I'm going to close these one off, so I don't need them anymore, those three. Yeah, and then I also did, of course, flow testing the steering pump. If you did not see it, go to the short video from last week. I think I did last week or the week before. Have a look. I did a flow test for the steering pump because I needed to know how much flow the tandem pump could do for the self-leveling suspension, because I ordered now some parts for it, because I also have the self-leveling in the back and in the front now. So, and it has only one oil feed, so there is some parts I need for that. That's ordered. So after that I can also start on the fuel system to get the lines and everything in there, and the pump in and that sort of stuff, injectors, everything can go in. And then wiring, I will start on that the last bit. So it's all getting nice and tidy. So if there are any questions, leave some comments below the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the page. On the right corner for you is my logo. You can click on it to see all the other videos. Have a look on engien.com. And if there are any questions about the subject, don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching. Put a thumbs up. See you for the next one. Bye bye.